Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
Hey, I can look at myself naked.
Are you stoned or something?
They tried stoning me, my dear. It did not work.
He likes to create his own sauce.
Well, did you sleep with a man who also slept with Mom and Grandma Catherine?
What? You slept with Dad?
Alright, which one of you sardines called this meat?
Whatever, Major Loser.
Let the party begin!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The quirky, adorable twins in the middle of your midlife crisis. That's Chad Ekowitz.
And that's Simone LaRue. That was so nice. How
Thanks.
wonderful. Look at you. That just so adorable, bruh.
You know.
I love the thing, since this is the first episode that we're actually recording our video, which you guys can go and watch on YouTube. It was so lovely because, as you will probably see if you do go and watch the video, Simone full on turned her head sideways and then full on turned it straight back to the camera to start the episode like a true TV professional.
Cool, like, method moments of focus. What it was I was waiting for Magnus to finish licking his leg before I started the recording, and I was sort of giving him an "Are you done now?" look. He was not done.
Oh, fair enough. I mean, I thought it was very, very professional, and I was impressed by your level of professionalism this time.
I should have just left it there, like, yeah, there, this visionary podcaster, like, and back to the camera.
It's fine. That's what we do. I think we're better at improv than we ever will be at professionalism.
God, I mean, I hope so.
So, guys, if you haven't ever listened to this podcast before, if you've never watched this podcast before, this is the podcast where we take two movies every week that didn't do well on Rotten Tomatoes, and we say nice things about them. It's a new decade, exciting times, and we're going to bring up the optimism level 180%.
Because God knows we're going to need it.
Oh, yeah. So what are we doing this week, Simone?
We are doing kind of a fun one this week. We're going right deep back into my childhood, and we're doing Olsen twins movies.
I love the Olsen twins.
They're the gift that keeps on giving.
So proud of all the things. Yeah, it's also fun to like go back to like their first movies and how small they are. Like they're just so lovely, and you get to watch them grow, and it's wonderful. And
I would argue that Billboard Dad was kind of them at peak adorableness.
I would agree so. Yeah. That sort of, we're now coming out of toddlers and entering teen years, and it's going to be interesting from here, especially
kiddos.
Yeah, with still like super chubby cheeks and just delightful.
Giant eyes.
The movie that I am giant eyes, and it got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I believe a 48% audience score. So yikes, that's sad. Yeah. And what movie are you doing this week, Simone?
I am doing Our Lips Are Sealed, their Australian adventure. Let me just double check the score they got on Rotten Tomatoes.
They really got flown everywhere, didn't they? It was so nice. Just what a life.
Great racket.
Hey, you guys, why don't we make loads
so
of
it
film?
Also does not have a real score on the tomato meter. It says that it's not yet available, but it got a 53% audience score.
Right. And I kind of agree that your film was better than my film. That's for sure. Like, I cannot tell you how disappointed that Billboard Dad.
In the very least, because it's mildly less problematic.
Yeah, that's also true. But yeah, I was very sad that Billboard Dad wasn't what I said it was at the end of the last episode. I was very mad that it wasn't about them trying to find their dad. The Billboard had very little to play in their film.
Yes. Yeah, it was really just the hook.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's decide who goes first. What are you drinking this week?
I'm drinking a South African classic, the Black Label, that is left over from the fridge from New Year's Eve.
That's fair. That's fair. There is like you said to me before we started recording, there are just so many things in your fridge right now. Was there red wine as well, or is it just beer?
No, the red wine was the first thing to go.
That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not
So,
surprised.
whoops. But yeah, there was a ton of like leftover meats.
Oh,
There was
that's
like basically an entire cheese board left over, which obviously was my dream. And that kept
Yes.
me fed for much less time than it should. I probably should have slowed down on that, but you know, who am I to say no
Nah.
to some good cheese?
Summer's coming sort of to an end in South Africa. You're almost getting ready to go into your autumn, so it's time to start hibernating and getting ready for that bulk that you need.
Yeah, I've just gotten a head start on the winter bulk. Let's call it that.
Hey,
And what are you drinking?
we got to try and spin it. Today I am drinking the Fire Johnny Walker again.
Ooh.
It's a fan favorite of mine, and it's so nice and cinnamony and just delicious. And I can't remember what percentage it is, but I'm pretty damn sure it's higher than Black Label.
Okay. Well, that means you're going first.
So-
You win.
I mean, none of us win when we're discussing Billboard, Dad.
You know what? I'm actually so excited to talk about this movie because it's really, as with all the Olsen twins movies, it really shows me all the flawed ideas about what adulthood would be, and what my adolescence would be, and I just really love exploring that.
I'll save it for when we get into it. But there are a lot of things that I love about the Olsen twins and what they represent in film. So, but yeah, let's get into it after the synopsis. Emily and Tez Tyler, played by Ashley and Merrick Olsen respectively, are your normal preteen girls living in Venice Beach, California. They have loads of friends, love surfing, and are both on the diving team, though Tess is the better diver. Everything in their lives is perfect, except for one thing. 2 years ago, their mother died. Their father, Max, played by Tom Mendes, is still not over it and spends most of his time working so as to distract himself. He spends very little time with the girls, and when he does spend time with them, his head is always somewhere else. Max is a very famous sculptor, and so his agent, Nigel, played by Carl Banks, is pretty happy with how much Max is worth. As a B story, a new kid comes to the school. He seems like a troubled youth from East Hollywood, and his name is Ryan, played by Sam Saletta. He ruffles some feathers, and the girls do not like him. In an attempt to find one for their dad, Emily and Tess decide to essentially vandalize a billboard and post the personals ad on the Santa Monica Strip. Max is quite a hunk, so loads of women become interested in him. He gets thousands of letters in the post, all wanting to date him. When Emily and Tess reveal that they're the ones behind the whole scheme, the dad agrees to go on 5 dates, all of which are crap. As fate would have it, Max decides to go on one final date. However, it is actually the friend of the woman he is supposed to go on a date with who he falls in love with. Her name is Brooke, played by Jessica Tuck. They can take it slow at first, but it is really clear that they are super in love. Max stops working as much, spending much more time with Brooke and the two girls. It also turns out that Ryan is Brooke's kid, and the girls are shocked, but over time they learn to like him. The fact that Max isn't working as much obviously upsets Nigel, who is now worried that because Max is happy, his art will become rubbish. Consequently, he decides to make forgeries of Max's work so that he can still make money should Max become redundant. As a backup plan, Nigel also decides to split Brooke and Max up by making the girls believe that Brooke is a gold digger and is only after Max for his money. Nigel then makes it look like Max is cheating on Brooke with a model that Nigel hired for a nude drawing. They split up, and Max goes back to being sad, which of course, the girls see their dad is completely devastated, and after speaking to Ryan, they realize that they have made a terrible mistake. Ryan also tells them of Nigel's forgery scheme. The girls feel super guilty about all of this and devise a plan to get Brooke back. They go to speak to her, apologize, and then redesign the billboard to show that Max has been taken. At the same time, the girls reveal how evil Nigel has been, and Max fires him. Brooke and Max get back together, the girls and Ryan are super happy, and they're all one big happy family again. The end.
The end. What's
Yes.
your cliffhanger for this one, Chad? I'm gonna have a lot of fun trying to get it.
Oh God. To be fair, okay, I would suggest this is what I did for what's that Freddie Prinze Jr. one we did, Head Over Heels. What I did, and it sounded really shit in the episode, was I just recorded it onto my phone, sent it to my Facebook, and then downloaded the audio. So that was the best thing I could do, because it's so shit when we do movies like this.
So apologies in advance, everyone, for the quality of the clip.
Yeah. So it has to do this well. And that's when they're speaking about remembering the mother when they're in the little cafe eating the sundae.
Yeah.
It's just so sweet. Like, I love that scene because it really just it's like one of these like really genuine moments where it really shows that actor, the guy who plays Max, what's his name, Tom Mendes. It shows like a real sort of acting chops, and it was just such a touching moment, and I really enjoyed that. And there are a few of those in this movie, like just peppered in, and I love it.
Is it terrible that I eye rolled during that moment?
Yes, you are dead inside, and you should feel
like, okay, we all grieve differently, and as you well know, I don't really like to talk about my feelings. So for me, this was already, I was like, okay, calm down, you're in a public place. But also, I don't know, it was like just kind of shitty. Like, obviously he should be like comfortable talking to his daughters about his grief and stuff, but like he shouldn't be like putting that on them. Like, they're trying to have a good time with their dad, and he, by the looks of things, hasn't like super stepped up to like being a full-time parent. Like, he's got his fucking agent helping look after the kids. Like, he didn't try and establish a support network or anything. Like, he's basically left these two girls to fend for themselves. And then every time they're like, Dad, maybe you could like be a dad to us and take us for ice cream. And he's like, your mother liked nuts. Like, fuck off, dude. These poor girls.
Okay, I will admit that it was such a like a springboard moment as well, because all he did was a bait and switch where he was like, "What do you remember of your mother, girls?" And then they tell him all these nice things, and then he's like, "It was your mother who liked nuts. I'm a miserable git," and it is rather amusing, and I will give you that. It does make me laugh that you're very unemotional with these kind of things. This is kind of the opposite movie that you need, where I am just like a hopeless romantic, and I was just like, "Mah."
Oh, his wife loved nuts.
He liked the nuts, and he only got nuts for her.
I'm like, fuck you, buddy. That's why we work so well, Chad.
Yeah, polar opposites, very much like Ashley and Kate Olsen. Mary Kate.
Yeah, you were close.
One could say. Yeah, I was so good. I loved the subplot of the fact that one of them was super in love with her diving instructor, and how uncomfortable that was. So uncomfortable.
I'm so glad we're finally recording this so people can see my face reacting to this. Like, obviously, it's super normal as a kid to have a crush on your coach or whatever. And obviously, you know, the coach never said or did anything to whichever twin it was. Like, he was very professional, and he knew, like, he's like a grown-ass man. But it was still, like, they kind of made it sound like it was okay that she, like, not only had a crush on him, but, like, actively wanted to pursue a relationship with him. And that, like, she wouldn't have said no if he'd made a move, which is called grooming. It was so creepy. Like, it's so crazy to me that, like, this movie came out, what, 98?
I think so, yeah, somewhere around there.
Like, that, so like we all kind of grew up watching movies where we were told it's perfectly okay for you to like want a grown college man to be sexually interested in you, and there would be nothing weird if he reciprocated.
You can see why we're in so much trouble with like dating apps and catfishing now, because of just how okay this was. And like, it can be thinly disguised as people be like, oh, it was a joke, the whole thing was a joke. But to kids who are watching this movie, because this isn't aimed at adults, This is
Yeah.
aimed at kids. Kids aren't gonna know that that was a joke. They're just gonna be like, yeah, this is cool.
Yeah,
This
like
is
I grew
what
up
we
thinking
need."
like that it's totally fine to like want to be in a relationship with like a much older dude. And at no point is it
Yeah.
commented on like, hey, a college guy's probably pretty fucking disgusting if he's like interested in someone your age. Like no one told me
Yeah.
that. And I always
Yeah.
think like I'm just so lucky, like I'm very blessed in my life, and I'm lucky that I didn't cross paths with the wrong person because I wouldn't have known it was wrong.
Exactly. And then you would have been in a really, really
Horrible situation that so
because
many
they
women
take
do find
advantage.
themselves
Yeah.
in. Girls find
Yeah,
themselves in.
because these guys are predators and they take advantage of that weak and vulnerable position.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. I mean, it's such a weird link, but it actually kind of worked out really well. I watched the episode of Big Mouth yesterday of this, which is the movie, the musical, where the drama teacher like essentially sexually grooms Lola. And I mean, it kind of works out perfectly because that's what, like, he just pushes everything onto her and like makes her feel like she's the one that's doing wrong. And thank goodness that this college guy, this hunky college guy, wasn't like, well, you know, this was your idea to make it out or whatever. Like, it could have ended so much more different.
I think like when you're young, like I don't even mean like a child. I mean like in your young 20s even. Like even now, like nobody realizes how easy they are to manipulate until it happens, and you still feel like it's your fault.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's the point. That's how they manipulate you to believe it's your fault.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was so gross. I was like, oh no, this is what movies normalized in the 90s.
It's that bit where he pulls her out of the pool and like it freeze frames like it was the goal the whole time. I was just like, fuck me, that's not good. That is not good.
And also these days with like how strict they are with like coaches and anybody who works with kids, like he would not pull her out of that pool unless she was drowning.
Yeah, definitely 100%. Oh man, I mean, it's very interesting as well because like what I love about the Mary Kay and Ashley movies is the fact that they normalize women wanting relationships and wanting boys from like a very young age, and like it makes it sort of very cool and sort of, you know, takes away the purity and the Vestal Virgin ideal of women, you know, saying like, instead of saying like boys only chase women, it's showing that women also, you know, equally are allowed to chase guys, and it's normal. And I love that about these movies because when we did this for the old podcast and we did New York Minute and the other one,
we
Lost
did
in
Passport
Paris.
to Paris, and I think we did the Hilary Duff movie or the Lizzie McGuire movie.
Oh, right. Oh, right, yeah, of course. And like it was just like a wonderful time where, you know, these young girls were just like, yeah, guys are actually cool, and you know, it's all right to have, you know, sexual interests and stuff. It's part of being a human.
And I think, you know, much as I have a problem with like their characters are always like obsessed with boys, I kind of always appreciate too that all of the boys, like love interests in all of these movies, are always love interests who are very attentive and romantic and do these big gestures and are respectful and like talk to them about their interests and, you know, like spend time with them as humans before they make a move. Like that's actually pretty like good behavior for what you should expect from a potential romantic partner. And God knows, ladies, as a teenager, it's not what you get.
No. Even as an adult, Simone, I mean, come on.
True.
To the point where you look at these movies and you suspect them because they're too nice and they're too good. You're like, nah, this dude is a rapist.
What are their intentions right now?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a horrible reality we live in. That is awful.
The world's a terrible place.
What is a terrible place? So tell me about the problematic aspect of this movie, because you mentioned it and I feel like I'm being dumb for missing it.
I mean, besides the whole like, you know, giant crush on her diving instructor bit, which was so their dad is clearly very depressed. And
Yeah.
he does not need a new girlfriend. He needs therapy. Like, he needs to
Yeah, that's
get
so true.
into it with the therapist. Like, I found it so worrying when he, like, meets this new woman and, like, she's not completely nuts and she's, like, funny and clever and, like, they're obsessed with each other. Like, he goes from, like, being a complete hermit to spending all of his time with her.
Yeah.
And, she's the woman who's, like, solved his problems and cured his grief. And, like, that's
Yeah.
not healthy at all. And she
No,
should have even
no.
been like, because she was like, oh no, we need to take it slow. I don't know how 2 months, like less than 2 months is taking it slow, but like, okay. Like at first she's like, oh, we should take it slow, but like they should take it much slower and like really get into how he's definitely nowhere near over grieving his dead wife.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like, if you can't go for an ice cream with your daughters without bursting into tears, you're not ready to date again.
Yeah, yeah. You're 100% right. And it's the idea that, oh, all that's wrong is you're not having enough sex or you're not getting enough love. Where it's the same as, you remember when we did 1,000 Words, where Eddie Murphy wouldn't speak, and then his wife's best friend suggested, you know what's wrong with this relationship? You're not having enough weird sex. Like, it's the same kind of idea that, sex solves everything. And guys, newsflash, not necessarily true.
And it also, like, feeds into this narrative that, like, guys, you don't have to work on yourselves. The right woman will come along and everything will be better. And that's not a lot of pressure to put on a human woman who's not your therapist at all. It's fine.
Yeah, completely normal, Simone. You are set to a higher standard as a woman, as being born as a woman. You are set to a higher standard that society deems that you have to keep up with. And if you're not keeping up with, well, then you're a failure as a woman.
Yeah, because I'm not already acting like their mother and their best friend and their whatever. I have to be a therapist too. I told, actually, he's a guy we both know, but I won't name names on the podcast. But I remember ages ago, he was like, he had a lot of like anger in his heart. And he was like, but I'll just meet the right girl one day and she'll change all that. It's like,
oh no.
Oh, honey.
Oh. Mistakes. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Spoilers, guys.
So
that's
how
not
did
gonna work.
What did you say? Did you just nod and go, yeah, okay?
No, I was like, I don't think that's true. Like, what a lot of horrible pressure to put on. But anyway, we didn't date, so I hope he's well.
Good. Going back to the boyfriend aspect of this, I loved the kid who was super interested in one of the twins, who the twin just completely just ignored, and he wasn't like overly upset or about it or anything, or like sought revenge or anything. He was just kind of like
butthurt about it.
Well, yeah. It's nice to see that as a guy, not feeling like angst because you were like the nice guy.
Yeah. I'm always very impressed with the love interests that they do give the Olsen twins. It's not like some weird, dark, problematic thing. There are other problematic things, but thank God the boys they actually end up dating are not it.
Yeah, so true. So very true. I also got really annoyed at the 5 dates that he went on. Like, 2 of them were just like normal, and he was kind of a douche. Like the French lady, just because she had a bit of hair. Come on, dude.
Come on, armpit hair. Come on. And also, like, you're a grown ass man, and you can't deal with a beautiful woman that has armpit hair.
Yeah. You don't deserve to find love.
What a horrible stereotype on the French as well.
That's true.
And then the other one was mildly Islamophobic because it was a woman in full. It's a niqab. Niqab.
Yeah, niqab. And he was just like, you have beautiful eyes. And it was like, oh no.
Yeah.
When that got revealed.
Yeah. And that was it. She just goes, oh, thanks. And then he doesn't talk to her further. He's just like, oh, the state is over. What?
Like, yeah, no, that was real insane. What a dick. Yeah, he's got issues. He's got a lot of issues. But yeah, is there anything else that you liked about it?
I mean, I think the camera work in this one was a lot less aggressively experimental than the one that we're gonna be doing next.
Yeah.
This one was just, it's kind of a silly Saturday afternoon romp with two adorable, precocious twins. That's all you can really take it as. I wouldn't take it as an example of a great adult relationship, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. It's enjoyable. It's, twins trying to solve the dad's issues on sort of a kid's level as well, and the dad not realizing that he actually has real problems.
And he should see a therapist instead of letting his young daughters take care of him.
Exactly.
And stealing their childhoods away from them.
Yeah. Which is also an allegory for the Olsen twins as a whole, really, if you think about it. Poor Olsen twins.
Shame. I hope they're okay.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're doing just fine. Yeah. What's your scene that could have saved it?
God, get rid of the whole crush with the lifeguard, or at least turn it into a teachable moment where I don't know, she at some point realizes yeah, it would be really weird if he actually did like me. I acknowledge that he is a grown man and it's bizarre. I don't know, just a throwaway line. That really did scar you. That really scarred you. That really got you deep. Yeah, it really touched something deep. Again, I'm always very aware of how lucky I am that something horrible didn't happen to me as a child, because I was dumb.
That's the thing. You look back at the stupid shit that you did as a kid,
and the stupid
you're just
shit you
how
thought
was
as
I not
well.
murdered? Yeah, and you're just how did I not get murdered? I'm very confused.
Here we are.
But here we are. So for me, it had to be, I mentioned it earlier, but it had a slightly more satisfying ending for the guy who loves the sister. I just feel bad for him, I'm not saying they have to get together, because, prerogatives, you don't like who you don't like, and you like who you like. But I just felt he helped. He was there in the situation. He was doing his best, and, he kind of just got nothing. Absolutely nothing at the end. Not even a thank you for helping.
He did get a kiss on the cheek, though, so...
Yeah.
No,
I mean...
You're right.
Empty gestures. I'm not saying snog him, because you're both preteens.
Children.
But, yeah, but don't, well done, dude. You were a real help in this situation.
Yeah.
Gold star. Something more meaningful for him. Yeah. Even what would have been cool is if they had actually sat down and chatted and been like, listen, I see you only as a friend. You're a great, amazing guy. Just settle it like adults, or, give a good example of what a relationship should be instead of the crazy bad relationships of an adult and a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one day.
One day. So would you watch it again?
Probably not. To be honest, it's not up there with the top classic Olsen twins movies for me.
Look, I'm glad I watched it, but I've got to agree with you. Just purely on the basis as well of how hard it was to find this movie.
God.
The effort of finding this movie against the enjoyment of watching this movie, it's too high a price to pay.
Yeah. I mean, I had to get you to send me the link because I just couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of our computers are infected with the equivalent of AIDS.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, or just rabid dog at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, there you have it. Billboard Dad, the disappointing film that hardly featured.
Fun. Okay, let me tell you all about what's it? Our Lips Are Sealed.
Very excited.
You should be, because I skip a lot in this synopsis.
There is a lot to skip.
Yeah. Okay. Maddie and Abby, played by Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen respectively, are twin girls about to enter their freshman year of high school. All they want is to be popular, but their first day fails dismally. While eating hot dogs outside of a museum, the two witness the robbery of a diamond, and the culprit is arrested directly in front of them. They end up being key witnesses in the case that sends this criminal to jail, causing crime boss Emile Hachu, played by Robert Miano, to threaten their lives. This enters them and their parents, played by Jim Miskimen and Tamara Clatterbuck, into witness protection. After hundreds of failed moves around the country where they keep accidentally revealing their identities, they are sent to Australia and told that this time they have to make it work. Their first goal is to be popular at their new school, so they learn the local slang, local sports, and generally ingratiate themselves with the cool kids as much as possible. It works, but they find themselves unhappy with the company they keep. They end up hanging out with two surfers at their school, played by Ryan Clark and Scott Scalwell, who are very romantic. They don't care about their image as much anymore and just want to have fun and be themselves. Shenanigans ensue, during which two men from the mob, played by Jason Clarke and Richard Carter, manage to track them down, but learn that they actually don't want to be henchmen after all. The diamond that the original thief stole is also revealed to be in Abby's possession the entire time, and Emile Hachu immediately comes to claim it, but is thwarted. Everyone lives happily ever after, having learned valuable lessons about being true to themselves. The end.
Aw, perfect movie. Tell me, what's your cliffhanger?
Oh God, I didn't even think. I had so much other stuff prepared, and I was just like, I know that I have to do one every week, but you know.
But it's that thing. It's where you watch the movie and you go, oh, this is definitely the cliffhanger. Wait,
Yeah.
this is the definite cliffhanger. And then you forget about it, and then it comes to this time Sunday, and you're just like, shit. What was this? What was this film?
Okay, let me think. Let me think.
I'll give you, yeah.
God, there's so many terrible lines in this. You know what? I'm gonna do this clip, which is gonna be the one where she's like talking with all her Australian slang that she just learned.
Oh God, cringe. So cringe. Oh God.
Now, you and I, as people, well, South Africans and like people who lived in South Africa long enough, like we can understand a okay amount of the slang just by proximity and like similarity of culture. But I'm
Concept, yeah.
also pretty sure
Yeah.
nobody uses the long strings of it all together.
No human being on the planet has ever used exclusively slang in a single sentence. That would be insane.
And like also because like the Australian slang that I know is obviously very different from whatever the fuck was in that. And I was just like, how much research did they do? Or did they like, I guess it wasn't, they couldn't have Googled it. It was like 2000. But did they like, I don't know, email some random guy in Australia and they were just like, what's your weirdest slang? And rolled with it. He could have said anything.
I just love it because, as we know now from Australians, like, cunt is their favorite word. So, you know, it was just, you could almost imagine just young Mary Kate or Ashley just being like saying the whole thing and be like, what do you think, you can't? And it's even better if she had said that.
Especially like because flip-flops are called thongs. That's objectively hilarious. And it's not brought up once. And I know it's a kid's movie, but I was still just a little disappointed.
Oh, definitely. What I love about this movie, or what I loved about this movie as well, is just like how objective and statistical being popular in school was. Like it wasn't this sort of very difficult, very complex social game, which it is. It's this very basic thing of we can only like you if one specific person likes you.
Yeah.
All the rest of us love you already, but what we think does not matter until she likes you.
Yeah.
And that really simplifies social dynamics in high school so much.
If only it had been like that. Just no inter-gang drama, no internal drama there, just hive mind
Just
and no politics.
hive mind, attack queen, no politics, no one dating everyone else. Yeah, that's always fun. So tell me, how much do you hate surfers? Because I hate them. Oh, I hate surfers.
I love that in
so
this, the two like sandy blonde, blue-eyed dudes are like losers because of how much they like surfing. Like everybody there can surf, don't get them wrong. It's just these dudes really like surfing, and that makes them losers. And the 2000s were just such a strange time. I'm always reminded of like how the movies you and I watched growing up was it was all stuff like about being popular and like you should just be yourself. You don't have to worry about being popular. And now it's like, you know, fucking Descendants and zombies like talking about fucking like social justice and like not being racist and accepting people from different backgrounds. And it's just this next generation's gonna be so much better than us.
They are the hope for the future. They really are. I can't wait for this group of people, the Descendants group of people, to like go through to high school and like even a single teacher says something racist, because that teacher will be taken out. It will
it's already happening.
Beautiful. Oh, good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Good on
A
you,
teacher
kids.
got arrested for a hate crime, I think today, as a recording, where like because she ripped the hijab off a girl in her class.
Oh shit.
And that was ruled a hate crime because it is.
Because it is? Yeah. Shit. Go woke, kids. Well done.
Yeah.
Damn. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I loved how much hate the surfers got for liking surfing, because they're objectively cute and they're objectively just want to have fun, but just that they've kind of given their whole personalities to surfing, which agreed, like in normal circumstances, if your whole personality is the fact that you're a surfer, boring ass, but that doesn't make you sort of the scum of society that the popular kids make them out to be.
It was so bizarre. They're like, hey, surfos. It's like, how is that an insult? And then like fucking nerdy girls like, oh, don't talk to the surfos.
Especially because it also yeah, it makes no sense. And like it was just really funny because the end competition was a surf competition.
Yeah.
So what is everyone's fucking problem?
The whole thing was so strange to me. I was so confused. I guess it was like, you know, to move the plot along and everything, and they didn't want them to be like actual nerds. God forbid. But it was so funny.
Yeah. It was wonderfully weird. I do love that they played with they had to include a Sheila joke. You gotta love a good Sheila joke,
Sheila.
as you do. What's your name? Sheila. And your name? Sheila. Oh, okay, cool. We're doing this. That's fine. That's fine, I guess. I loved seeing the guy, one of the henchmen who was
Jason Clarke.
the lead. Yes. How great is that? Young Jason
What a
Clarke.
random little surprise.
Right? It was so delightful. I was well chuffed. I was like, don't worry, guy. You're going to go so many places after this. You're going to have the best career.
Fine. You and your very delicate nose.
Yeah. And it was what I loved about his character as well. He was so tech forward, and his partner was such a dick about it.
Yeah, he was like, oh, I think the internet's going to be the next big thing. And his partner's like, this fucking guy, right?
Yeah. Dude has a GPS. And the guy's like, throws it on the floor and smashes it. Fucking thing is like, Ace, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's valuable shit. Like, no one else believed in that technology in 2000.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that guy was like one of the original backers of Google. He bought shares in Google like dead early.
For sure. And he's doing really well now.
Yeah, 100%. Also, I'm really mad at you for not including the best thing about this movie, which was the fact that the diamond was called Neil Diamond. Fucking joke.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember being like, oh, okay, I have to mention this on the podcast because Of course I do. And sorry, I just blocked it completely out of my mind because
It's the best
life's
joke of
hard.
the whole movie. It's the best joke of any movie I've ever seen. I'm sorry,
I
but
don't think
Neil
that's
Diamond is
true.
fucking. It's comedy gold. There's nothing better than that.
I don't know. I don't know if that is comedy
Comedy
gold, but
died after
okay.
this movie. Comedy died after this movie. I'm saying it now. It was done.
That's a bold statement that you will probably come to regret in like the next episode.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. We'll find something. We will find something.
Mm.
So what's your scene that could have saved it then?
Oh God. You know, I think their parents are really patient with them because they
Mhm.
like, you know, they show like little red dots on the map of America, all the places that they've moved from. They have moved like well over 100 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not once are their parents like, fucking listen. We know it's not your fault that you witnessed a crime, but you need to get your shit together.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, I feel like the Olsen twins, like, in all of their movies, just have the coolest, like, chillest parents that are like, yeah, we'll let our prepubescent daughters just wander around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much this sort of satellite parenting. The kids can just do whatever they want, and the parents will blindly believe them when they say or do anything.
Like, they're actually just really terrible parents. And I'm
Yeah.
almost surprised that they weren't
And
like, can't you just put our kids in witness protection? Like, why do we have to come?
especially because like the parents just do not give a shit even when they're in Australia. The kid parents are just like hanging out in their little villa and the kids are like running around and shit
Yeah.
and the mom's
And
just
they're like,
there
have fun today. Don't
smoking.
witness any more crimes.
Yeah, yeah. It's outrageous. You're so right. It would have been really good to see a scene where like the parents actually just sit them down and be like, guys, well no, you're ruining it.
This is horrible. We hate everything about this. Please.
um from my side, this is actually one of the deeper sort of plots that I would have liked to see. It would have been super cool to see the popular girl's dad come onto the boat or something like that and just completely like ignore the daughter or like just completely just never be there for her
Oh,
at
shame.
all, and just like because then you would kind of really understand why she is the way that she is, and then like the Olsen twins could have like been there for her, and it would have all
Yeah,
sort of
that's
brought them
true.
all
We didn't get a lot
together.
into Victoria.
No, it would have been really nice if like Victoria, there's like a school play or something, which also they never went to school. They were all always on the beach or on daddy's boat.
Yeah, look, school is
Um,
for losers in the
and surfers.
wonderful world of the Olsen twins. Oh, by the way, Victoria was played by Jade Broniberg,
Cool. All right.
and this is
Um,
the only movie she's acted in, according to IMDb.
oh, sweet niece.
I mean, maybe they just like showed up in Australia and they were like, you over there.
Fair. And then she's actually like a doctor or something now. That would be pretty cool.
Exactly. She's like gotten on with her life, that paid her way through university or whatever.
Yeah, she saw like the decline of the Olsen twins and was like, whew, glad I missed that boat. Who knows? But yeah, like I would have been really cool if she, like there was like a school play and her dad never pitches or something, and it just like shows this really sad Victoria, and that's why she's so bitter and why she like loves this popularity kind of thing. Yeah,
She needs attention.
yeah, that would have been nice. Yeah. So would you watch this one again?
Maybe?
Maybe.
I don't know. Like,
Interesting.
oh my God, can we talk about all the fun they had with cameras and the fact that cameras can zoom in and out now, and you can forward and reverse film so that it looks like they're going back up the slide. That like that dance scene on the boat where
Oh,
there's like
fucking hell.
and
That was
just Dutch
funny.
angles.
Oh, that was the best scene. That was so, so funny because they're like, dancing, 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 stop. Someone tells a joke. Dancing, 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 someone else tells a joke. Dancing, 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 stop. Oh, am I supposed to tell a joke now? Fucking hell.
It was a little painful. Just all the, I don't know who the editor was, but it was clearly their first year in editing, and they were like, look what I can do.
Yeah.
I am the god of cinema. I can move clips back and forth at will. They got like a new editing program.
It's just, first focus groups actually threw up after watching the film, but they were just like, it's from how sweet the girls are. That's why they threw up.
Yeah, that's it. Also, can I just say that the Vegemite that she tries was definitely not Vegemite.
No, was it not? I've never had Vegemite in my life.
I think they probably put Nutella in there or something.
Yeah. Which is quite funny as well because, Vegemite's actually quite delicious. How do you feel about Marmite or Vegemite? Because I've never had Vegemite.
I mean, I think I prefer. I haven't tried a lot of Vegemite, so I can't say. I would probably just end up preferring Marmite because that's what I'm used to. And nothing better than like cheese and Marmite and butter on a nice white, not healthy slice of bread.
Oh yeah.
On a fat cook.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you're speaking my language.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Just for those who don't know, fat cook's just fried bread. It's fried bread. You slice it open. You stuff it with no healthy toppings. Like lettuce should not come near it. Usually like curry or butter and cheese and Marmite or cheese and jam and just it's like melty and it's so good.
Yeah, guys, South African food, if you've never been to South Africa, South African food is never healthy. There is not a healthy thing on the menu. Yeah. You're either going to get kidney stones from all the red meat you're about to consume, or you're going to have a heart attack from all the fat and butter that you're going to consume. Like, those are your choices. It really is. Best nation in the world.
I mean, there are certainly worse ones out there at the moment.
There you go. That's the optimistic slant that we're taking. So you say maybe. Explain yourself. I want to know the situations that you would and why. Why? Just why?
I don't know. Like, I always feel so nostalgic watching Olsen twins movies because, like I said, they really shaped my expectations for my adolescence, which were not met.
No.
But like, I think I just feel so nostalgic watching them and thinking when I used to watch them, like I was like 10 years old with my little friends and we were all like talking about how we want to be popular and get hot boyfriends. And obviously that didn't happen because boys are disgusting. And popularity is a meaningless term. But like, I don't know. It holds a very special place in my heart. I won't watch it again anytime soon, but like next time I want to take a trip down memory road, this movie's up there.
Wow, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, I'm giving you a lot of shtick, but I would probably watch it again just because of the ridiculous jokes in here that just you can't help but giggle at. The fact that the diamond is called Neil Diamond, the fact that there are so many weird-ass plot points, the fact that the surfers are the enemy. Just brilliant. Excellent. The fact that the kids are allowed to run around an empty roller coaster rink or whatever you call them, amusement park, alone without any
operating heavy machinery, completely unsupervised.
Brilliant. This is what the 2000s was made of. No wonder Home Alone did so well. It's fucking...
I think also because of those movies, I counted on like much less supervision from my parents than what I got.
Yeah. There are a few things that we were taught as kids, such as the fact that stop, drop, and roll was going to be a major part of your life, that you were going to be constantly bothered by acid rain, and the fact that your parents would never supervise you. Those were the three big ones from my child,
Like, and also, like, quicksand. Like, I was always pretty convinced I'd need to get out of quicksand at some point. Still hasn't happened.
Right?
Like, I'm not, excited for it. But I'm a little disappointed. No. Like, I know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. You're so right. But these situations have never come up, and I don't understand why we're so heavily taught these things.
For shame on these movies.
Yeah. And our schooling system, to be fair. The schooling system is atrocious.
For so
It
many
needs
reasons.
serious for so many reasons. Um, but weirdly enough, and this always happens when we do Olsen movies, we really talk about really hard-hitting issues with society. Have you noticed that? Whenever we deal with this, and
Yeah.
kind of
You can say
beautiful,
what you
and
will
that's why
about
we
these
kind of
movies,
love
but
these,
they
'cause
make
they
you
really
think.
They do. They definitely do. And then we have it, Simone, bringing it to a close again.
God, we've done it.
Can you believe it? So what's your optimistic thing for this week?
Oh, do you want to talk about what we're gonna do next week? Because I have no idea.
Oh yes. Okay. So hear me out.
Oh boy.
I want to.
I'm not doing sports or dogs.
No, that's fine. I promised you. I did promise you that we would never do sports again until the next time that I suggest sports. I was thinking a Will Smith week.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while since we covered Will Smith.
Right. So I was thinking. Now here's the outsider that I'm thinking we're both not going to want to go for. It's called Made in America. It's from 1993. I've never seen it. It got 31%. Or the alternative two that I have is Men in Black 2 and After Earth.
I always feel so bad doing a sequel because, like, without the context of the first one.
Although, like, everyone's seen Men in Black.
Yeah, that's true. And I also really, for some reason, don't want to watch Made in America at all.
Neither do I. So should we do that? I don't even mind if you want to do
Yeah, let's
After
do
Earth,
Men in
then I'll
Black
do Men in
2
Black
and
2.
After Earth.
Beautiful. Which would you prefer, After Earth or Men in Black 2?
I have to watch them both anyway, Chad.
I'll do Men in Black 2. I'll follow that
Okay, I'll
sort
do
of-
After Earth. Cool.
Okay, cool. So yes, Men in Black 2 got 39%, and After Earth got a shocking 11%.
Oh boy, I'm so excited to watch it this week. That's gonna be really fun for me.
Love Will Smith movies. You can't not love them, I guess. Although you can apparently, because yikes. But yes, so tell me then, what is your optimistic thing for this week?
Oh, my mom is in town this week. She's
nice.
Yeah, so I saw her this morning. We went and grabbed some eggs Benedict or an eggs Florentine for me. And it was delightful. And I'm just happy to have her around for a little bit.
That's so nice. So
Yeah.
tell me what's the difference between an eggs Benedict and an eggs Florentine?
Eggs Benedict is with bacon, and eggs Florentine is with salmon and wilted spinach.
Oh, lovely. Okay, fair enough. That sounds really nice. I think I would probably prefer the Florentine to the Benedict.
I think it depends on, how much you want your blood pressure to shoot up when you're done eating it. But hollandaise sauce is always so rich. My body, because I don't usually eat breakfast, and then there I was eating like fucking eggs Florentine first thing in the morning, and my body was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
What is this? But Simone, you should eat breakfast. Come on now. It's the most important meal of the day.
Debatable.
Stop being a rebel. Just eat breakfast.
I
Have
don't
a slice
like
of
eating
toast.
breakfast. I'm never hungry in the mornings. I hate forcing myself to eat.
You were a difficult child, weren't you?
I wasn't. I was a very easy child. You know this. I was a delight.
Fine. Don't eat your breakfast.
Anyway, what's your optimistic thing if you're done lecturing me?
Mine is also food related. How surprising that both of us have a food related one. Samantha and I went to a really, really nice steak restaurant the other night, and it was just really cool. It was quite fancy. It was like a fancy date night. The steak was unbelievable, and I had a whiskey with my steak, which was just
look
so
at him.
fancy. Oh, I know. It was really, really fancy. And yeah, we had a really nice time. It was just delightful. And, I love her very much, and we had a super duper time. Yeah.
What did
So that's
Sam
my
eat?
optimistic thing. Samantha ate a burger. She was like, I feel bad eating a burger at a steak restaurant, but the burger just jumped out at me, and I was like, listen, we're here for a fancy dinner. Eat what you want. It's not
For some
about
reason in my
what
head
you
she
should
was
eat.
vegetarian. I don't know why.
She seems like a vegetarian, doesn't she?
I think she's
but
just got one of those faces.
But hey, it was actually quite funny because I was saying to her the other day, I was like, I'm thinking when I move out of being a vegetarian, and she was like, if you go vegetarian, do I have to be a vegetarian? And I was like, you really don't. And she's like,
No.
thank fuck for that.
No, I live. Well, I guess I'm technically a pescatarian.
Yeah.
But I live with a carnivore.
And we make it